Mountains. I love mountains. In fact, I could go out on my front porch, drink my coffee, and look over the vista of the Blue Ridge Mountains. So beautiful. But when I think about mountains, I think about mountains of the Bible. So the Bible's full of these wonderful mountains, and each one of them tell a story. So I'd like to take the next few days and tell you each mountain with a story that goes with it. Let me begin by Mount Gerizim. Let me take you all the way back to the time of Moses. Moses is taking the Israelites through 40 years through the wilderness. He gets right to the edge of the promised land. And then he says this command. He tells Joshua, when you go into the promised land, go to the two mountains, Mount Ebal on the left, Mount Gerizim on the right. Put 6 tribes on Ebal, 6 tribes on Mount Gerizim, and put the Levites in the middle. And then Deuteronomy chapter 28 lists the cursings and the blessings. So put the 6 tribes on Ebal and talk about and have them pronounce the cursings, and 6 tribes on Gerizim and have them pronounce the blessings. And that's exactly what Joshua does. In Joshua chapter 8, he fulfills the commands of Moses. Mount Gerizim. Let me fast forward a few hundred years, and eventually the nation of Israel splits into Israel to the north, Judah to the south. Eventually the Assyrians come in and carry off the northern 10 tribes into Assyria. When they're there, they intermarry with the Assyrians and intermingle their religion. Now they become what's known as Samaritans. That might sound familiar. Fast forward now to John chapter 4. Jesus comes to Mount Gerizim. He meets the Samaritan woman. We later find out, tradition tells us, her name is Photina. She becomes the great evangelist and evangelizes the entire Samaritan region. So Jesus says to this woman, who's used to worshiping on Mount Gerizim, she says, well, you worship on that mountain, Mount Zion. We worship on this mountain. Jesus' response to hers is interesting. He says, it doesn't matter what mountain you worship on. What matters is you worship in spirit and in truth. Today, I want to challenge you today. It doesn't matter what mountain you're on. What matters is that you worship Jesus in spirit and in truth. So the Bible tells these great stories about these wonderful mountains. Today, Gerizim reminds us, worship God in spirit and in truth.